Hello, my friends. I want us to talk about kidney failure. And the reason why I want us to talk about kidney failure is because of recent, one of the most prolific music video directors in Nigeria, thank God, Omori Jesham, aka TJ Omori, has suffered kidney failure in the last year and he's recently had a failed kidney transplant. There have been so many videos on kidney transplant, on kidney failure, of recent on social media. And I said, let me contribute to the wealth of information that is already circulating. I've seen a lot of videos. I think that the phrase recently made videos on safety, on how to recognize or reduce your risk of having fake drinks. Aproko Doctor did a very decent video on kidney failure, so you can watch that. I'll just reiterate a few points and add a few more so that we are more aware on things that we can do to reduce the risk of having kidney failure. First of all, what is kidney failure? Now, when we assess kidney function as doctors, there's what we call GFR, glomerular filtration rate, which is how well your kidneys are filtering your blood, filtering the waste products from your blood, urea, creatinine, and other waste products. And how well your kidneys are also filtering your blood, so you don't have fluid retention, excess fluid building up in your body. So normally, this GFR or EGFR, estimated glomerular filtration rate, should be greater than 90 normally. There are some other things. Your kidneys should not be leaking proteins. So these are things we use to check how healthy your kidneys are. Now, kidney failure is usually diagnosed when that GFR, which should normally be above 90, drops to below 15. So I'm just saying it so you understand how drastic that drop would be for someone to start showing usually signs or symptoms of kidney failure, where they'll begin to have leg swelling, abdominal swelling because of excess fluid. They may start being short of breath because fluid begins to build up in their lungs, start gaining weight because of the excessive fluid that is accumulating in their bodies. They may start having reduced amounts of urine that they are making, what we call oliguria medically, or anuria. They're not making urine at all. So just for you to understand, to give you an overview of what kidney failure actually means. Now, what are some of the things that cause or that could cause kidney failure? One is if there's an undiagnosed hypertension or high blood pressure. So usually we call high blood pressure the silent killer because a lot of people are walking around with very high blood pressures and they may not know until they have problems like a heart attack or a stroke, kidney failure. So even when the high blood pressure is diagnosed, if it remains not well controlled, maybe you're not taking adequate medications, maybe the person has a high BMI, body mass index, or high weight, large weights, maybe person's lifestyle, person's not exercising, having unhealthy diet, and their blood pressure is not too high, but over a long time it remains higher than it should be, then that person becomes at risk of having kidney failure because that sustained high blood pressure will damage the blood vessels that supply blood to their kidneys. Another thing is undiagnosed or poorly controlled diabetes mellitus or mellitus. Now, which is simply high blood sugar, sustained high blood sugar, sustained high sugar in your blood. Now, if a person has diabetes, either type 1 or type 2, and is not diagnosed on time, or even if it's diagnosed and is not poorly controlled, so which means you're taking tablets for diabetes, but your blood sugar levels are still higher than they should, there could be what we call microvascular, which means small blood vessels in your kidneys, small blood vessels in your eyes, your nerves could get damaged and you begin to have complications like kidney failure or reduced kidney function. You start losing sensation, nerve problems, you might start having troubles with your vision, which can even lead to blindness. Now, prolonged or frequent use of anti-inflammatory painkillers, what we call NSAIDs, NSAID, things like diclofenac, ibuprofen, naproxen, and many other anti-inflammatory painkillers, NSAIDs. Now, the reason I'm saying is that some people might have neck pain. If you're having chronic neck pain, knee pain, hip pain, and you find that ibuprofen helps. Each time you take ibuprofen, you take paracetamol, the pain doesn't really go away, it doesn't take the edge off. But each time you take ibuprofen or naproxen, you find that you get that pain relief, and then you start taking it over a long time. Now, these kind of medications can cause what we call acute interstitial nephritis, which is a form of injury to the kidney, and over a long time can lead to kidney failure. Now, what we call chronic glomerulonephritis, which is just an umbrella terminology we use for chronic inflammation of the small twisted blood vessels in the kidney. Different things can cause it. All of these things I've mentioned, medications can cause it. Some certain cancers, any inflammatory condition can cause chronic glomerulonephritis, which can lead to kidney failure. Now, what we call autoimmune conditions, autoimmune conditions can cause kidney failure, certain autoimmune conditions. What autoimmune conditions mean is that your body is producing proteins called antibodies that are now attacking its own tissues. So normally antibodies are designed to attack foreign objects or foreign microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, foreign bodies. That's the essence of antibodies, to protect the body. But then these antibodies or your natural soldiers begin to attack your body. So conditions like SLE, lupus, systemic lupus erythematosus, conditions like sarcoidosis, conditions like what we call Wegener's granulomatosis, or chronic granulomatosis with polyangiitis. These conditions can cause damage, inflammatory problems that can target, multiple organs in your body, one of which could be the kidneys, and people with, these conditions can have kidney failure. Now, another thing that could lead to kidney failure is exposure to toxins or poisons. Like chronic alcoholism, someone is taking too much alcohol, cigarette smoking, certain, cosmetic products, especially cosmetic products that contain mercury. People who bleach their skin with mercury containing cosmetic products, they are at higher risk of having kidney failure. Certain medications, obviously, that are used in some anti-inflammatory medications used in treatment of chronic inflammatory conditions or used in treatment of certain cancers can also lead to kidney problems. People that take unregulated herbal medications in themselves are not always bad, but herbal medications should be regulated by pharmaceutical companies. Now, unregulated herbal medications could lead to overdose. There might be some harmful contents in those medications or formulations. So it's usually advised not to take unregulated herbal products. There are so many other things that could potentially lead to damage, failure of the kidneys. But these are the ones that we usually pay attention to. These are the most common ones that can affect a person's kidney. So avoid anti-inflammatory conditions. Share this video with people, because I believe a lot of the time people may not really know, because sometimes it's ignorance, not being unaware of certain things that we may be doing, especially pain medications that could potentially damage. Or some people might have hypertension and they're not taking their medications as they should, or they may not, they may be diabetic and they think it's really not much harm that might come from not being compliant with their treatment. So it's very important what your blood pressure is, what your blood sugar is, have a kidney function test, blood test, do a urinalysis, make sure there's no blood, what we call microscopic or non-visible blood in your urine. Stay healthy, stay hydrated, drink lots of water, because obviously chronic dehydration, not drinking water, is another thing. I should have mentioned that not drinking water, chronic dehydration, is another cause of kidney failure. So stay healthy, exercise, eat healthily, avoid too much processed foods, eat healthily, exercise, make sure you know what your blood pressure is, make sure you're not diabetic, and by the time you do the ones that are within your power, obviously nature will then decide what else happens. You know what I mean? There are things we have control over, and there are things that we do not have control over, but the onus is on us to do those things that we can influence, and hope that the heavens will do their own part to protect us. I wish, thank God, TJ Omori, a good recovery from his current travails. It's my prayer that his next kidney transplantation will be a success, that his body will take the kidney and he would live a long, fulfilled and successful life.